I'm going to talk to you about this black screen meme. I don't know if it's still a thing. I saw some people on Facebook changing their profile pictures to all black. And maybe they've done this on different mediums too. They've done this, from what I understand, it's in solidarity with the protests against police brutality, which I can support. I mean, that's fine. Talking to someone who I'm related to and they were doing a thing, I asked them, I said, well, you know, I mean, obviously I don't agree with the violence and the looting, and this person said, well, sometimes violence is necessary, and it's like, wow, even people who I'm related to, we're just on very different trajectories. Like, holy. When it comes to the black screen itself, I mean, what I notice is obviously it's a meme that a lot of people on the left plugged right into, or they were programmed to do that, and even beyond left or right, that's a programmed thing. That's not like a supernatural coincidence, which could also happen. Sometimes there's strange coincidences which are part of like an evil magic spell, or just a magic is evil anyway. So like an evil act to make people do a certain thing, think a certain thing. And some people have weak senses of intuition. They can't quite sense that this is evil, that this is wrong, that you should, or at least it doesn't give them that feeling in the stomach like, what's going on here? Because when I see the black screen, I didn't know what it was about right away. I mean, I might have easily reasoned quite quickly, but you're just smacked by this black screen, and it's intentional, obviously. And I mean, and the two meanings for me are obviously it's the error screen, which you'd be more familiar with, which the Wikipedia defines as the black screen of death is an error screen displayed by some operating systems after encountering a critical system error, which can cause the system to shut down. So that's culturally what we might be more familiar with seeing. And is that supposed to be referencing death because you're losing consciousness, so you're dead? Or is that supposed to be a reference to black skin, which I don't agree with? I mean, I think that's disparaging and cheapening to black people, just as it would be over a simplification as using the color white for white people. I don't know if that's what they were going for, consciously or implicitly. I wouldn't give so much weight to that, so-called obvious interpretation. I'm thinking, it's an error screen because they are required to show us what they are doing. They do weird things for certain reasons. They show us in movies, they write books about what they're doing, and partly the books are partly to educate their own, so they know what they're on the same page, doing the same program. But they inform the public via popular culture of all of these things. So it's an error screen. It's signaling system reboot, system shutdown, a critical error phase. So that they're trying to redesign society and recreate society. And they see us as stupid automatons, so we exist in a computer system for them. I don't believe we're in a simulation. I believe reality is quite real. They may see us as part of a machine. They don't see that we have souls, or they don't recognize the dignity of our souls as humans, made in the image of God. The other meaning is the pirate flag, and that's a black screen, the pirate flag. Now, in popular culture, we think of the pirate flag as with a skull and crossbones often, but from what I understand, historically, the solid black flag was quite common. Because it'd be pretty easy to make. It takes time to design a nice skull and crossbones. They didn't have industrial equipment back in the good old pirate days of the 1680s, like they do today. So, I mean, there still were skull and crossbones, and there were some solid red flags. The solid red, where do we see that? Well, I'll leave that for you to think up, but I think many people will come to mind quite quickly. But the solid black flag was a very common pirate flag, and it was implicitly used to instill terror in people, like something really bad is coming, because obviously the pirates would board you and possibly kill you and take all your stuff, just like still happens today in many parts of the world and in different forms on land. So are these things just a coincidence? I don't think so. Not all a coincidence. And that's pretty much, there was a few other things I noticed. Yeah, charcoal, solid black, signifies charcoal, which is in the context kind of ominous. And oh yes, of course, the most important one is even before this thing got going, think of the burqa mask, and I'm calling it the burqa mask, but during the time of, just recently, in recent weeks, you see Joe Biden with the black mask, everyone's getting the black mask, because early on there were the blue masks, white masks, there's still a lot of white masks, but then more and more people, younger people, other people, they started getting this black, solid black mask, which, I don't know, I mean, a mask in general is kind of a goofy looking thing, but from a fashion standpoint, it's like, it's definitely an extremely different look with that solid black mask on you, and kind of like the burqa. Or you think of ninjas wearing the black mask. So these people with the black mask, it's like they're ninjas. They're burqa, male burqa, women burqa, all unisex burqa people, communist burqa people. Or they're Antifa, because Antifa has been doing that for a while, the solid black clothing. That was the last connection I was going to make. Antifa, of course, solid black. Something they do, and I like the color black. As you can see, I have a black jacket. I often wear a black sweater, got my black Swiss gear backpack. I like the color black, but when you do an all black, full black spread, then it's, or you cover, like the mask, obviously you see other color around it, but it's a spread, it's a full thing covering something over. When you treat black that way, it becomes a very ominous color. And so you got to be more, you got to pay more attention to this stuff. There's a lot of symbolism and stuff, but don't overanalyze stuff with all the, don't get into it too much. But sometimes when you see memes, yes, it's quite warranted to think that the elites are releasing things consciously, and even if it's unconscious, there are strange effects, making strange coincidences laden with meaning throughout our society. Hasta luego, amigos.